wanted to share some information with you about writing and about what the physical act of writing actually does to your brain. So, I've been doing some research recently, and one of the things that I've discovered is based off of some recent studies. They found that physical writing actually creates a lot of benefit for your brain. It improves memory. It helps us deal with stress and trauma. And it actually kind of like affects all parts of your brain. So there was a recent research study done where they took a number of subjects. I believe it was 30 subjects, and they did brain scans of them while they were physically writing. And when I say physically writing, I mean pen to paper writing or pencil to paper writing, not typing on a keyboard. So pen to paper writing. So they took brain scans of these subjects while they were physically writing. And what they found on those brain scans is like their entire brains lit up, like every single section of their brain lit up. The section that is tied to cognition, to memory, to eyesight, to auditory function. So every piece of the brain was activated by the act of writing. And one of the reasons that I find this so compelling and so interesting is that I know from personal experience when I physically write. So when I'm being creative, not when I'm writing an email, not when I'm writing, something business related, but when I'm being creative. So when I'm writing a story or when I'm writing something for others that's more creative. The very first thing I do is I write it on paper. And I also found, and this I sort of got when I learned when I was in college, is I found that when I was studying or when I have something I need to remember, I write it down first. The same thing, most of you know that I do comedy. So when I'm writing a comedy set or a script for something, I physically write it first. Even if I originally typed it out, I physically write it. And there's something about the act of physically writing that embeds it into my memory. And I can remember it much more better. So they've also found that not only does it help your memory, it actually helps your ability to learn. So physical writing actually opens up neural pathways in your brain, and those neural pathways actually help you take in more information. So the more pathways like that you have in your brain, the more information you can consume. So not only is it helping you to remember things better, it actually helps you to learn more. So I find it fascinating, and I wanted to share that with you because as writers, which you all are now writers, it's important to kind of understand these methods so that if you get stuck, and that's something that happens to all of us, blocks, being creative, blocks are something that it's a real thing we have to deal with. Maybe you sit down one day and you want to do some writing and you can't think of anything to write. Maybe you sit down one day and you're writing and you get to a section and you start to get stuck. You can't figure out what direction to go next. It may be that if you pick up a pen and paper and actually do some writing on a pen and paper, that may activate some different parts of your brain and help you to get yourself unstuck. I also find it when I'm brainstorming a business problem, the act of sitting down, and I actually use like big pieces of paper, the 11 by 17 big sheets of paper. When I'm brainstorming, I love taking one of those big sheets of paper and physically writing out my ideas because I think it actually helps me to create more and better ideas when I'm doing that. So give it a try, and I would love to hear from you and love to know what you think about it. If you've never, if you haven't written, like physically written in a long time, maybe it's something to try and see, see what happens when you do that. So please reach out to me if you need any support. I am here for you, and hopefully this is a small piece of information that gives you some good results. Thanks.